I'm going to talk about the third chapter of the Unit 2, Ecology. This third chapter focuses in the study between organisms and other organisms, as well as the abiotic and abiotic factors that can affect these interactions, including the food chains and food webs, and all the study of the entire biosphere, which is our planet. That's why this name is the third chapter of this unit, the biosphere. All organisms, no matter their size, their species, or where they live, need to interact with other organisms in their neighborhood and with their environment in order to survive. Ecology is the scientific study of the interactions between organisms and their environment. The term comes from the Greek study of house, or the study of the place we live in. The scope of ecology is huge, and it encompasses all organisms living on Earth and their physical and chemical surroundings. For this reason, the field is usually divided into different levels of organization, such as individual species, population, community, ecosystems, the biome, and our entire planet, which is the biosphere. Ecology looks at how individuals interact with their environment, which is made up of biotic and abiotic factors. Abiotic factor is any non-living part of the environment with which an organism may interact, including animals, plants, mushrooms, bacteria, and many others. And we also have the abiotic factors, which are all the physical components of an ecosystem. Abiotic factors is any non-living part of the environment, such as sunlight, heat, precipitation, wind, and so on. However, all this knowledge about our environment, it wouldn't be possible if ecologists didn't use three essential methods for their investigations, such as observation, experimentation, and modeling. Each of these approaches relies on scientific methodology to guide inquiry. Although species are slightly different, in biology, the same general idea applies. Since biology concerns life, producers and consumers are living things and organisms. Sunlight is the main energy source for life on Earth. Organisms that can capture energy from sunlight or chemicals and use that energy to produce food are called autotrophs or primary producers. The process in which autotrophs capture light and energy and use it to convert carbon dioxide and water into oxygen and sugars is called photosynthesis. And the process in which autotrophs use chemical energy to produce carbohydrates is called chemosynthesis. Organisms that rely on other organisms for their energy and food are called heterotrophs. There are many different types of heterotrophs, such as herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, detritivores, decomposers, and scavengers. As I mentioned, organisms can be either producers or consumers in terms of energy flow through an ecosystem. But how do energy flow in ecosystems? Energy flows through an ecosystem in one direction from primary producers to various consumers. That is why we have food chain and food webs. A food chain is a series of steps in which organisms transfer energy by eating and being eaten. Producers, such as floating algae called phytoplankton, are at the base of every food chain. And a food web is a network of all the food chains in an ecosystem. Food webs are very complex. Small disturbances to one population can affect all populations in a food web. Each step in a food chain or food web is called a trophic level. Producers make up the first trophic level. An ecological pyramid is a diagram that shows the relative amounts of energy or matter contained within each trophic level in a food chain or a food web. Types of ecological pyramids are pyramids of energy, pyramids of biomass, and pyramids of numbers. Pyramids of energy show the relative amounts of energy available at different trophic levels. Pyramids of biomass show the total amount of living tissue at each trophic level. and a pyramid of numbers show the relative numbers of organisms at different trophic levels. Basically, this is all the content of this third chapter. As we can see, the content is very easy to understand. And thanks to all the things and all the learning that we have gathered, it is possible to understand the interactions between organisms and their environments. I hope you like the video, and I hope that we all gather the sufficient knowledge for the future and for understand our entire planet, which is the biosphere.